The thing about writing love in fantasy is that we so often fall into clichés and tropes. Not because we don't know how to write love, but because love is a thing that touches the core of the human spirit. And it hurts to expose that part of yourself and get rejected. And so we shield ourselves as authors. We hide our souls and write about love in more generic terms. We make it about politics or about physical attraction, but we don't delve into the true nature, the core of what we believe about love. And the result is trope-filled nonsense where there should be strong thematic elements that speak to the strength of love. And that is what I would like to talk about today. Love and the 4 mistakes that authors make when writing about love in fantasy. Welcome to another episode of Just in Time Worlds with your host, Marie Mullaney. I should clarify that I'm mostly going to be speaking about romantic love here, but the same does apply to friendship and familial love and so on. Okay, caveats out the way. Let's get started with the first mistake. You make this mistake when you do not include any festivals of love, fertility, or otherwise couple-orientated aspects in your world. It is very easy in today's heart-saturated environment to dismiss Valentine's Day as an over-commercialized vehicle for selling cards and chocolate. But this ignores the deep roots of Valentine's Day and completely misses the reason why these kinds of festivals are an important element of your culture. So, let's explore the history of Valentine's Day and why it's important, starting in ancient Rome. Now, the original rites of Lupercalia in ancient Rome were pretty dark. It was celebrated on February 13th to 15th and involved animal sacrifice and a lottery where women were paired with men, and the descriptions of this celebration are honestly pretty wild and would get this video completely demonetized. The whole thing sounds pretty primal. However, over time, the celebrations grew more dignified and less, naked. Couples did fall in love with each other and stay with each other, and the festival became about health and fertility. And that, of course, is a key purpose of these kinds of festivals, is to invoke fertility, to invoke love, to find a partner. And we'll get to why these festivals help people find partners and help people express their love. But first, how did Lupercalia become St. Valentine's Day? And who was this dude anyway? There were several Christian martyrs who bore the name Valentine, and the day could be commemorating their acts of love in the face of oppression. The legend that I'm partial to tells us about a priest in the 3rd century AD who performed secret marriages against the emperor's wishes. Another one talks about a Valentine who sent the first Valentine note to a jailer's daughter. Personally, I think that one is more likely to be made up because it has too much of a link with the modern concept of sending Valentine's cards. I think that's a little bit too neat with a bow tied up to it for real history. I do like the first legend because it clearly connects the martyred priest to the rites of love, which makes sense given the nature of the celebration. But if sending Valentine's cards didn't come from this legend of the priest and the jailer's daughter, where did it come from? You're not gonna believe the answer! It came from Chaucer, probably. Chaucer wrote this very long poem called The Parliament of Fowls, and there's a line in there that says, "For this was Saint Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh to..." My old English ain't that good. Let's try that again. For this was on Saint Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate. So this line from Chaucer quite likely kicked off the whole mess of sending notes, especially when you combine it with courtly love and the code of chivalry and all of that, which was during the High Middle Ages, which was also around about the time when Chaucer was writing. Sending Valentine's greetings as written notes began to appear after the 1400s, and these notes became popular over time. But why? And why do I say this ritual is important to cultures and finding love? Simply because Valentine's Day and festivals like it around the world are a means to express love, but to do it within the safe confines of ritual, to do it in a socially acceptable way that can be laughed off if that love is rejected. As painful as it is for us as writers to expose our inner thoughts on love and put them on the page, so is it painful for people to expose their hearts to each other. And they often use festivals like Valentine's Day as a means to express themselves while still protecting their social face. And that is the cultural purpose these festivals serve, and why they're important for your world. They are a means for your characters to express their love while still sheltering themselves from the risk of rejection by using the ritual to shield their inner heart. So, when you're crafting festivals in your fantasy world, especially if you're going to include some romance in your story, don't dismiss the spring fertility and love festivals. People throughout history and in every culture have sought ways to express love and protect their social status and hearts from the vulnerability of rejection, and these festivals offer the ideal opportunity for that. And if you enjoyed that exploration of the purpose of love festivals in your culture and the deep roots of Valentine's Day, show this video some love by booping that thumbs up button. And let's talk about oversimplifying marriage and family structures. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is in undervaluing the differences in family structures and the rights of love between different cultures in your world. You might think, oh, but everyone marries, right? That's how we propagate as a species. But this isn't true. Even in our world, even in this day and age, it's not true. Yes, we propagate as a species because a male and a female do the hanky-panky and a child results. But there are numerous different kinds of pairings. For example, in the Mosua culture in China, a very different type of marriage is practiced. The Mosua are a matrilineal ethnic group in China that practices a unique form of walking marriage called zuhan. Young people who have reached the age of 13 are allowed to choose their own lovers or axia without any formal commitment or cohabitation. Men visit their axia only at night and they leave in the morning, while women stay in their maternal families and the children are raised in those maternal families under the watchful eye of the family matriarch. So don't get trapped into thinking that the pairing of one man, one woman into the nuclear family is common to all cultures. You have so much more that you can do with your pairings. A great exploration of couples and pairings is in Ursula Le Guin's Left Hand of Darkness, written in 1969. In this book, there is an earthling who explores another culture of people called the Gethians. This species is ambisexual, as in they have no fixed sex. Every month, they enter a state of chemer and pair up, which can result in pregnancy. Gethians can take on either male or female sexual characteristics, depending on their partner's sexual characteristics. This fluidity of sex and gender has a profound impact on the culture and society of Gethin, and is a major theme of the novel. I really enjoyed Left Hand of Darkness and highly recommend it. It's one of the reasons I called my deities in Sangwheel Chronicles the left hand and the right hand gods. It's just a little Easter egg to show my appreciation for Le Guin's amazing work in the field of science fiction. But back to your world. If you're going to go to all the trouble of inventing a whole second world with its own cultures, don't just be like every culture has a boy-girl marriage. Think about things that influence your culture, from the environment to the species physiology to your magic system. It can all impact your pairings. And speaking of the fantasy elements, let's move on to mistake number 3, neglecting the influence of the fantastical on personal relationships. One of the things that makes magic and the fantasy elements of a world feel as though they're just pasted on is if they don't integrate into the cultures of the world. Magic should impact your cultures, and it should definitely impact your relationships. If you have a genetic-based magic system, this should influence how people negotiate around marriage and children. If one of the partners is more powerful, magically speaking, than the other, presumably this will impact the magical potential of their children, and that will influence how these people approach marriage. Also, the personal power of a mage in a relationship has a drastic impact on that relationship. If one partner can make it rain fire from the sky and the other can't, that changes the power balance of the relationship in a very fundamental way. And it's certainly something you need to consider about your world. And all of that is without talking about the hoary old trope of love potions. If your world has something that can compel either love or lust, this should definitely form the basis for some kind of thematic element in your world. Not using this as a theme is, in my opinion, the equivalent of a Chekhov's gun. If you're going to put something so fundamentally impactful in your magic system as a love potion, you should very definitely think about how this plays into themes around consent, lust versus love, lust turning into love, or lust turning into enmity. I mean, if you think about it, a love potion is basically an epic form of gaslighting. And that is a thematic element that deserves exploration. But it doesn't have to be a major theme. You can explore it as a minor theme. A really great example of using a love potion, or a lust potion if you prefer, as both a save the cat moment and a minor theme comes to us from the Dresden Files. In the very first book, Stormfront, Harry brews 2 potions, an escape potion and a love potion. Then he comes home from a date and there's a demon knocking on the door, and he sends his date down into the basement to drink the escape potion. But she accidentally drinks the love potion instead. Harry activates his safety circle with the 2 of them inside, locking them in without realizing what's happened, and his date, Susan, starts getting really hot under the collar. And that is where the save the cat moment comes in, because Harry shows excellent restraint here. He resists Susan's actions and gets the potion out of her system. It's a fantastic moment that shows the reader that Harry has a strong moral compass. So don't just think about major themes. You can also use these elements around love to show the nature and the inner heart of your protagonist characters. The key part of all of this is don't forget about magic and the fantastical, and let it impact in love on your cultures. Let me know in the comments how you think magic can and should affect love in fantasy worlds, or where it didn't and really should have. And let's move on to the last mistake. Number 4, cliched romantic subplots. We've all encountered the classic tropes. Love at first sight, tumultuous love triangles, misunderstandings that drive the whole romantic plot, and so on and so forth. But here's the thing. It's not the clichés themselves that are the issue. It's what's missing from them. Clichés become a problem when they're used as a mere vehicle for romance, a checkbox in your story, without delving any deeper. Romance is about the heart, the soul of the narrative, and it should pulse through these relationships. Clichés are empty because they have no heart, because the author is using them to protect their own heart. Now, I'm not going to point out where authors have done this and done it badly. Instead, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite authors who opens up her heart and puts it all on the page. Jacqueline Carey exemplifies the heart of the story in her Kashil and Namaha series. These books are not about elaborate plots, the spicy scenes, or the intricate politics. Those are just the things that happen in the books. And don't mistake me, they're great. They really are fantastic. But that's not what the books are about. No, these books are about love. It's about how Jacqueline Carey sees love, and that is what resonates with me. Her portrayal of love in its myriad forms, whether it's romantic, familial, or between friends, is what breathes life into her characters and her plot. Love is this powerful force at the core of our being. It drives us, it shapes us, and sometimes even breaks us. It's the hard truth lying at the center of our existence. And Jacqueline Carey's books work because she acknowledges it and pours her heart onto the page. We are social animals, and love is the deepest expression of the social bond between people. When authors pour their own perceptions and experiences of love into their characters, it creates a connection, a resonance with the reader. And that transforms a character from a mere name on the page to someone we live and breathe with as readers. Even in stories where characters are isolated, it's their relationships, however few, that draw us in, that make us invest in them. So when you use a trope like a love triangle or love at first sight, both of which can and do happen in the real world, inject your own truth into it. Make it a meaningful part of your story. Don't just use these tropes as a shield to avoid exposing your own heart and your beliefs about love. That's when it becomes cliché. Risking your inner thoughts on love is what separates a forgettable romance from one that lingers in the minds and hearts of your readers. Is that overly romantic of me? Maybe it is. Maybe there is a romantic hiding in all of us, no matter how jaded the exterior. Let me know your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How do you make romance authentic in your stories and your world? And those are the 4 mistakes authors make in writing romance. This video has been brought to you by the wonderful members of my channel who live within my heart, and a special thanks to Tony, Quinton, Dylan, and Tiffany. If you would like to join their ranks for as little as €3 a month, you can get all of these cool perks. But please don't feel pressured to support the channel financially. You can also show your support just by watching another video. Since you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy my video on thought-provoking fantasy on screen now, or you can trust the algorithm with its recommendation on screen now, and I will see you soon for another episode of Just-in-Time Worlds, where we build what we need when we need it.